I'm about to study French for 24 hours straight to see just how much can I learn. And then I'll study for a week, a month, a year, and I'll track exactly what I'm doing every single day so you can see what's working, what's not, and maybe that'll help you find your own path to become fluent in a language you've always wanted to learn. My first step will be to find out what my French level is before I start. And for that, I have this book. After I know my French level, I'll study the language for 24 hours and see how much French I can learn. At the end of this video, I'll even try to have a conversation and see if I don't completely fail. So let's go find a quiet space to get started, and I'll share with you why I'm doing this video in the first place. Let me first start out by saying that language learning takes time and effort. It's not something that can be done in some challenge for 24 hours or 7 days or 1 month or even 1 year. I think those are unrealistic expectations, but I do want to see how far I can go if I dedicate a few minutes to French every day, even while on a really busy life schedule. French is an official language in Haiti, where I'm from, but I never got to learn it. I left Haiti when I was young to come to the US for a better life, and I missed out on learning French. So I can't connect to the community of global French speakers in one of the most important ways they express themselves, including my dad. I want to see if I can change that. This is how I'm going to find out my French level before I start the challenge. This is an official French exam called the DELF, and it measures your French and gives you an official level. I'm starting with the lowest level first, and this 1 hour and a half test should tell me if I surpassed the A1 level or if I truly am a complete beginner. I do speak English, and I speak Haitian Creole and now Spanish, which both share similarities with French, so those should give me a leg up with the challenge. But will that be enough to pass the A1 level? I guess we'll find out. The first part of the test is 20 minutes of listening. I have to hear a few short audio recordings, and then I answer multiple choice questions based on what I heard.
Je t'invite dans un petit restaurant sympa près de mon hôtel. Envoie-moi un texto avant 17h, si tu es d'accord.
And this part felt pretty good. I was able to use a lot of my Creole and Spanish to figure out the answers. Then I had some reading. I had to read several short texts like advertisements or emails, and I answered multiple choice questions on them. The limit for this one was 30 minutes, and my Creole and Spanish also rescued me here. Up next was writing. This is where the plane began to crash. Other languages can help me decode and understand some French, but they stop being so helpful when it comes to producing French. So I spent the time writing probably what first graders do every day. And then I got there to the big, bad speaking part. I took a walk and did this one outside. I had 10 minutes to prepare, and then I had to speak for about 7 minutes on simple topics like introducing myself and ordering food.
Bonjour, je voudrais un croissant.
And anyone who heard me would have instantly known that I was clearly not a French speaker. I scored the listening and reading parts with the answer keys, and I had AI give me a hand with scoring the speaking and writing parts using the exam rubrics. And I got a 22 out of 25 for listening, another 22 out of 25 for reading. I took a dive with a 14 out of 25 for writing, and finally 13 out of 25 for speaking. Overall, that's a 71%, and the AI assessment was that I am a solid A1, maybe even A2 on reading and listening, but I'm definitely a super beginner A1 for writing and speaking. The real challenge begins now. I started my French learning challenge with the 12 golden sentences technique, a method I learned from a polyglot book that I shared in a previous video. What I did was I translated these 12 sentences to French to start to understand how French grammar is structured. I'm admittedly still very confused at this point, but here's where I am in my first minute of French studies. Let's have a simple role-play conversation in French. You start.
D'accord, amusons-nous. Tu es le propriétaire d'un petit café à Paris et je suis un client curieux. Bonjour, j'ai entendu dire que votre café sert le meilleur chocolat chaud de la ville. Qu'est-ce qui rend votre recette si spéciale?
Le recette de le chocolat que nous créons est spécial parce que il y a beaucoup de coco et nous make it avec beaucoup d'amour. My next check-in was at the 10-minute mark. In the time leading up to that, I started the first French lessons on Lang Talk. Lesson number 1 is called Greetings and Basic Introductions, where I learned to say things like, good morning, how are you, where are you from? And then I used the Learn tab to practice the lesson through questions and answers for points. By the 10-minute mark, this is how my French was. J'ai un rêve de visiter Corée du Sud parce que me fasciné.
Correction. J'ai le rêve de visiter la Corée du Sud parce qu'elle me fascine.
There were 3 more check-ins before the 24-hour challenge was over. The 1-hour mark, 10-hour mark, and 24 hours. The next hour was all about lessons and grammar. I kept going with Lang Talk and managed to finish quite a bit more lessons. I'd read the lesson notes, answer the questions, and jump to the next one. I also squeezed in some conversation practice, like this one with the corrector coach, to put the French I was learning into use. And this is where I am an hour into the challenge. Un film d'aventure me paraît bien, comme Avengers.
Super choix. Les films d'Avengers sont remplis d'action et d'aventure. Quel est votre super-héros préféré dans l'univers Marvel? Pourquoi cet héros en particulier vous inspire-t-il?
Thor m'inspire parce que il y a beaucoup de force et de pouvoir, mais aussi il y a un bon cœur, il est très gentil, il y a une face très gentille. Between hour 1 and hour 10, I went even deeper. I tried to watch a film in French called Amélie, but it quickly became clear that I was not yet ready to incorporate movies into my studying. So I kept up with the lessons, and by the 10th hour, I was starting to feel better about French.
Comment allez-vous aujourd'hui?
Comment ça va?
Between hour 10 and hour 24, it was all systems go. I went ham on the lessons and learned about a whole bunch of topics. How to tell time, food and drinks, prepositions, the most common verbs, giving directions, and so on. By the time the full 24 hours were up, this is where I was.
Bonjour, aujourd'hui je voudrais apprendre un peu de français. Pouvez-vous m'aider avec une conversation basique?
Salut, je suis heureux de t'aider à pratiquer le français. Pour commencer, parle-moi de ton dernier repas. Qu'est-ce que tu as mangé et avec qui?
Ce matin, je mange du fruit et je bois du jus d'orange avec un ami.
Correction. Ce matin, j'ai mangé des fruits et j'ai bu du jus d'orange avec un ami. Pour parler d'une action passée, on utilise le passé composé. Donc, j'ai mangé et j'ai bu. Miam, les fruits et le jus d'orange, ça fait un bon début de journée. Quels sont tes fruits préférés?
J'aime vraiment le pomme et le banane. Banana.
And I got to a point where I was confidently making lots of errors, but at least I was not afraid to try and say more complete sentences. So, what's the verdict? Well, I clearly have a long way to go, and I am in for a tough year. But what's an adventure without a little risk?